The audience must remain forever in the audience, bathing in the reflected glow of the spotlight. Alright, time for the Magatama. Woo! So, the trick up his sleeve. I'm flying by the seat of my pants on this one. There must be a path leading from the evidence to the truth. And that's what I'm going to find. To ask someone to take a life, even one not long for the world, or for this world, that's asking someone to commit murder. Yes, Armento was fond of dramatic moves and dramatic finales. And he got his wish. His life was taken. What weakness could be so powerful as to coerce someone into committing murder? My guess, it was a matter of life or death. Care to explain? Your troupe lived in a world of showmanship. The flashier the better. And the flashy so often means danger, doesn't it? Let us make this as painless as possible. If you have proof of this danger, then show it. Okay. Why, that's one of ours. Specially designed for your show, I gather. A single bullet, one shot. What are you suggesting? We are magicians, Mr. Wright, not murderers. I'm not crying murder, Mr. Valent. I'm crying something far more tragic. An accident. Zack and Valent's quick draw shoot 'em. How long has it been since those shots were last heard? Was the shoot 'em cancelled because someone might get hurt, or because someone did get hurt? Of course, what other reason could there be? Well, it could have been cancelled because someone had already been hurt. Fascinating. Is that my Faustian forging friend? Or Faustine? I don't know. Whatever. Fortune? I don't know how you'd say it, whatever. But tell me, what can you prove with a single pistol? Well, tell me what would have happened if there had been an accident. What if one of your bullets took a life on stage? The performance of magic is not concerned with what-ifs. It is concerned with precision. Precisely whom do you claim we shot? Looks like I've chosen the right path. Let's just hope he walks it with me. A life was sacrificed so that the show might go on. And this shows who it was. But that's Zack Rameri's wife, and Trucy's mother. Thalassa, I believe was her name? Ah. Alakaz. But how can you say this? How can you say she was struck by one of our bullets? Still in denial mode, eh? Thalassa was at the greatest risk of being shot. It clearly shows how much danger she was in. It's because she's the middle person. Yeah, she was always in the middle. And also when they did the shoot 'em. Troupe Grammary's performances were very, very popular. So popular they even made a commemorative stamp at the height of your fame. We were not merely the latest craze, we were an age, a golden age. It's all here on this stamp. There's Thalassa, yes. Oh, she's also wearing blue. Trucy's mother is missing, I hear. What happened to her? Oh, it's actually not the fact that she was in the middle, it's the fact that she was part of their troupe. I don't know. A part of his memory is still locked up. There is one thing you're failing to address. What's that? As you say, our troupe was a world unto itself. If our leader Magnify was so inclined, he could hide anything he wished with ease. But, Mr. Wright, then he would have hid a crime, making him an accomplice. Not a great foundation for blackmail. Valent's got a point. If one of the troupe members died in an accident and Magnify covered it up, his innocence would come into question. Found the right address, Mr. Wright? I'm so close. There has to be something. About how Thalassa's death could affect Zack and Valent's relationship with Magnify. I see in your eyes you still have something to say. How can you possibly prove more than you already have? Or prove why Thalassa's accident tied your hands so completely? With a person? It's going to take a little knowledge of the players to crack this one. The accidental death of Zack's wife tied both of your hands, and this information proves why Magnify held so much power over you. She didn't die, she went missing. It wasn't a question of who shot Thalassa. Thalassa herself was the problem. What? do you mean? She was Zach Ramirez's wife, Trucy's mother. I'd magnify... that's also true. His only daughter. There was a terrible accident, and the two of you killed your mentor's only daughter. But she ain't dead. Her whereabouts is unknown, which means she could be dead. I'd prefer to just say she's missing until we see a body. If that wasn't the key to Magnify's power over you, I don't know what was. It was... Oh, that's why they couldn't refuse. Because they shot Thalassa, his daughter. Alright, so there's blackmail. Telling you. There's no proof, none at all. But Thalassa went missing, and your mentor blackmailed both of his disciples. It doesn't take a genius to put one and one together. Ours was a complex family. You mean Trupe Grimeri? The Master magnified Grimeri, his only daughter, and his two disciples. That does sound like a recipe for disaster, doesn't it? Do not be tempted into faulty flights of fancy. Yes, there was an accident. But that's all there was, or all it was, an accident. Zach and Valence tour de force. The guns blaze, the bullets fly, straight toward that beautiful body on stage. And then crash, zing, pow into everything but her. Now that is magic. It happened one day when we were practicing, same trick with a new twist. And tragedy. Ooh. But as for whose bullet stole Thalassa's life, we shall never know the answer. Thalassa disappeared from our lives and Zach was bereft of his wife. Trucy lost her mother. And Magnify his daughter. Jesus. And that led to blackmail. I take it. It is all part of the parcel... all part and parcel of the darkness that comes when the curtain falls. The darkness? The darkness, Jackie. Why did Magnify Grimeri try to cover up the accident? It was his own daughter who died. All I can say is it was a critical time for Trupe Grimeri. A passing of the torch from Magnify to Zach and Valent. We all sacrificed so that it might be a success. Thalassa's death was the greatest sacrifice of all, yet, even when her life was extinguished, her presence was not. What do you mean? In time, we, myself and Zach, found we could no longer oppose Magnify's wishes. Magnify forced us to perform his art for his benefit. I see. I guess I can understand. I mean, he did lose his only daughter. But do you not find cowardice in his actions? Huh? To decide to hide the truth of your own daughter's death is one thing, but then to hang that death as a guillotine above our heads? Things were dark behind the scenes in Trupe Grimeri, that's for sure. Does Trucy know? She was not told, naturally. Who would want to know that their father might have taken their mother's life? True. I had not thought of that accident for a very long time. I'm sorry to dredge up old memories, but this has helped a lot. Not to find Magnify's slayer, I should think. True. After that accident, there was one who came sniffing, quite persistently. A reporter? He called himself a newsman at the time. Often I spied him lurking about the dressing room, doing his research. Would you happen to remember his name? What was his name? Sorry, I have forgotten. But in the course of his interviewing, he became quite close to my partner, Zach. I liked him not. I see. His name, I do not recall, but his scent, the cloying aroma of mint. Of course. Yes, whenever he smiled, which was far too often. I see. Thanks for your help. It does no good to interfere with the past, Mr. Wright. You will not uncover answers, only wounds. I'm sorry. And there it is. I had begun to notice a dark curtain hanging over Trupe Grimeri, and I began to realize what I had to do. I had to protect Trucy from that darkness. The reporter he mentioned. The newsman, I never learned who that was at the time. Though I've got a pretty good idea who it is now. That smile and the sickly sweet smell of mint. The last floss-thin thread connecting Zach Grimeri to this world. Sooner or later, I'd have to track him down. Yay! Brushel. I'm pretty sure his name's Brushel. Bloody Jesus. There we go. All four of the past is done. How many is left in the present? Oh god, 3 things. Shit. Alright. We have literally every part of the present to finish. God, it's taken ages to get through this. It's taken about an hour and a half. Present day, Drew Studio. Well, what do we have here? Remember me? Of course I remember you. Journalist meets ex-attorney in bar, end quote. Can I ask what you're doing here? Mr. Mission was poisoned, and his daughter's... Oh yes, I know. Oh, how I know, yes. It's caused me no end of grief, to be honest. Journalist wishes he'd tracked down case just a little quicker. End quote. Were you on the trail of this case the whole time? Zach Rameri was a good friend. Zach said something to that effect back at the Bosch Bowl Club. What a character, what a man. If a little... no, a lot. No, extremely rough around the edges. Do you think I could ask you a few questions? Oh, you serious? I mean, I'm usually the interviewer, not interviewee. Journalist asks questions, not all the way around. End quote. Fine, shoot. I don't care. People have been asking me all sorts of things lately. Cool, perfect. So, family of forgers. It was tragic what happened to Drew Misham and his daughter. Forgery is a serious crime, and they paid the price. You know what really did them in though, don't you? Yes, a forged diary page. The night I interviewed him, I found something about Mr. Misham I hadn't known. What's that? You know, he always felt like he was being watched. Every day for 7 years. Walls have ears, potatoes have eyes, end quote. Being watched? You mean he felt guilty? No, I'm not talking about feelings here. You know, I felt watched too. The whole time I've been on this case, no less. Journalist gets tingling sensation on back of neck, freaks out, and... end quote. Pardon me. I'm so gross. Because you felt guilty? Why would I feel guilty? You felt like you were being watched. I wonder what it all means. Paranoia? Sure. Drew Mission felt like he was being watched. And you along with him. You sure it wasn't just nerves? Nerves? No, it's nothing so mundane. I stopped paying attention to my nerves a long time ago. But I felt it too. Journalist sure he is being watched. End quote. Don't you wonder why Zach Rameri got rubbed out after 7 years? Right after coming into contact with me, he completely vanishes from the courtroom. Then for 7 years, he talks to no one, not a soul. Then, just as the remaining time was almost up, he contacts me in order to have this made. And then, he dies. Starting to put the pieces together, are we? And you were being watched this whole time? Maybe not just me, maybe you were too. Me? That's creepy. So Zach Rameri? I met Zach through the case actually. Or through that case actually. You mean the shooting of Magnified Rameri? No, before that. It's not wildly known. You mean... the accident. During the quick draw shooting practice. My, you're well informed. You should have seen me back then. I'd dug up quite the scoop. I wanted it all. Money, fame, women, a little puppy, all for me. I was younger then, and my days and nights smelled of fresher mint than they do now. Phalanx Rameri did mention one particularly nosy reporter. In fact, I was on close speaking terms with Magnified Rameri at the time. I knew his daughter too, of course. Thalassa, was it? Really? Then Thalassa disappeared. Quite suddenly at that. And Magnify wouldn't say a word about it. Yeah, my evil habit got the better of me. Journalist catches scent of the scoop. Goes on feeding frenzy. End quote. I set up a one-on-one interview with Thalassa's husband, see? Zach Rameri. Something strange was in the air over at Troop Rameri in those days. The whole screwy mentor-controlling disciples scene had started by then, I'm guessing. Thalassa, she was part of it all, right? Come on, you can tell me off the record. Sorry, I don't know. Anyway, I kept prying and eventually became friends with Zach. Sure, he punched me once or twice, or 5 times. But over time, he came to see me as a confidant, as his confidant. Isn't that nice? So Phalanx Rameri. He's been waiting this whole time. 7 years, eh? Waiting. For his big comeback, of course. A big revival of the Magnify Miracle. Of course it was all a dream. Because of this? the performance rights. In the absence of any official documents, he was golden. Who's to say the old man didn't give his rights to both Zack and Valent? So Valent waited until Zack died, legally at least. The time finally comes, and Valent's like a kid on Christmas morning. He's getting ready for his show at the Sunshine Coliseum, you know? If that document sees the legal light of day, it's going to put a bit of a damper on the big show. He's a sorry one, that Valent Grimeri. Lost out to his partner at work, and in love too. Love? Wait, did he like Thalassa too? It's the same old story, really. Two disciples and their mentor's only daughter. What has three sides, and all of them pointy? A love triangle. Shit. He was probably super jealous. It's pretty classic. When you're a performing troupe, that's your world. It's like family. One with an entire high school worth of drama, intrigue, and backstabbing. And in the middle of all this, Thalassa has Trucy. And then she dies. I need to find out more about this Thalassa. Do it the only way I know how. What do you know of this woman? Tell me. Mr. Brushell, do you know this person? Do I know that person? Of course. I was friends with Zack after all. He hit me a few times. 5 times actually. But still, I'd never forget his wife. Thalassa Grimeri. Magnify Grimeri's only daughter. Do you think you could tell me more about her? Well, why the heck not? Yay! Wow, he's actually being helpful. Thalassa. So, Thalassa married Zack and had Trucy, see? It was her second marriage, actually. You mean she was divorced? I hadn't heard this one before. Not quite, her late husband was a performer too. He died in an accident on stage. Tragic, really. They had only been married 1 year. I didn't know. Ah, but she was a beauty. I still carry a portrait photo of her around, you know? Damn. I've known Trucy since she was a little thing too. She got the better deal, really. She's got you for family, after all. What do you mean? Just reminiscing, you know? Thalassa has another child besides Trucy. End quote. Really? What? But Trucy said she was an only child. Ah yes, this one she had with her previous husband. Her previous husband? Her first husband who died on stage? Yep, they had themselves a kid. Another orphan now. There's another one who slipped through the cracks. No idea where they are now. Thalassa had another child. Do you think I could borrow that photo? Sure, I could be generous on occasion, you know? Thank you, buddy. And there's that. I won't need this locket anymore. Better return it to Trucy before I forget. People and events all get tangled together and get bigger, and bigger. Don't you think? I was too busy wondering about bigger to listen to what you were saying. Sometimes, you just gotta accept that you won't be able to untangle it all, I think. Maybe so, but still. I have to do what I can. And I have to tell what I find to those who come next. Next, you say? I'm not the one who will close the curtain on this little play. Apparently, that's not my role anymore. Magnify. I was just wondering what Magnify would think of all this. What do you mean? Haven't you seen it? Wait, haven't you seen it in Trucy? She's got his power. You mean how I can't lie to Trucy? It was the same with Magnify. And with his daughter, Thalassa. It's a strange thing. Think it's some Grimeri gene? Magnify told me once, back when Zack married Thalassa. He said Zack had good eyes. But not good like a Grimeri's eyes. Not that good. I wonder if Zack ever played a game of poker with his wife. Who knows what the Grimeri secret was? Maybe nobody, now that Zack's gone. Zack Grimeri. There we go. That's that finished. The plot had finally begun to reveal itself. It sprouted from a warp in the Grimeri fabric, and grew, swallowing everything, wrapping itself around the Grimeri's power. A power which passed from Magnify Grimeri to Thalassa to the next generation, and I would once again need to meet the one who bridged it all together. Oh ho ho ho! Oh yeah! Here it is. So we want to go back to the Bosch Ball Club. Oh my. Oh yeah, we need to just talk and boom. Oops. So the Grammary secret. We know about the secret now. Their secret is the fact they can perceive. Hint hint. I have to know more about this power of Trucy's. It's like she can see right into people's minds. The first time I saw her do it, it blew mine. And after you were done having your mind blown, you took her to play cards with you. Gotta use the resources at hand, I always say. Yet I myself have no such power. But Trucy does. Why's that? Maybe Trucy got her power from her mother, Thalassa Grammary. I will not speak of that. Thalassa is officially missing, correct? And I think I know why you don't want to talk about her. 'Cause she was shot, and you did it. The three of you were a team once. Not that the entire country doesn't already know this. And you had a bloody stamp, for Christ's sake. At your peak, you were the biggest stars around. Yet there's another story behind the fame, one that not many know. There was a terrible accident. Thalassa lost her life during a rehearsal. To you and Valent, Grammary's bullets. Oh, Valent Grammary's bullets. It was an accident, it wasn't me. How could I shoot my dear Thalassa? I'm sure Valent would say the same thing. Why, it's just like another murder I might mention. Damn you. Her eyes, I loved Thalassa's eyes. To think they could read my mind was frightening. Yet there was a warmth in them that felt like an embrace. She is dead, and Magnify Grammary has joined her. So the only one with her power left now is Trucy. Mr. Zack? I do not know. I don't need any power to see through that one, buddy. So there's someone else. Someone other than Trucy. Someone who inherited Thalassa's power. Huh. How would I know? My chances are slim. It would take a miracle to learn the truth. Or maybe one has already occurred. There is someone else with the power, and I know who. Yep. This boy. His name, I forget. Something weird. Who could he be? An attorney? Attorney? I noticed him when I went to visit a friend's law offices. So, what are we to make of this, oh great ex-attorney? You can show me the pictures of strange boys all you like. But you could at least say something like, I'm this boy. I could use a laugh. Perhaps you wouldn't laugh if you knew the facts. This might not be a 100% proof, but it's close. There is a link between this boy and Thalassa. Actually, it's more of a ring. A ring? Perhaps this will refresh your memory. I just so happen to have evidence showing this missing link. It's gonna be the what is it in it? Yep, it's the bracelet. Although she has rings. Actually, I know something. Your marriage to Thalassa was her second. How did you know this? Her first husband, he died a year after they were wed. Yes. He was a performer. They met when he joined us Grammaries as a guest in our show. After Thalassa wed him, she left the troupe for a while. And you say she had a child then? I have a photograph of her here. I couldn't help notice what she was wearing when I first saw this. Those bracelets stand out. They are a Grammary family heirloom. This boy wears a bracelet just like the ones in the picture. What? So, that's why. Why what, Mr. Zack? I took this photograph of Thalassa before she left us. When she returned, she only had the one. She wore only one bracelet. I bet I know where that other one went. She gave it to this boy. Her son. Ho-ho! Which means Apollo is Trucy's half-brother. What the fuck? The Grammary secret. This strange power, I myself do not know where it comes. From where it comes. Yet the fact is that it is passed down the Grammary line. It runs in their veins. What is it? I asked her. the lasso, once. This is what she told me. Her power responds to tension in others. Tension? If she were to face a person, and they became tense, even slightly, then she would know, no matter how hard they tried to hide it from her. So she could see it. Not quite. This is the strangest part of all. She wouldn't realise that she was subconsciously detecting this tension, without the use of a particular object, or in her case, objects. Objects? Wait. Were they something she wore? Yes. Her bracelets. I admit the first time I saw one of those I felt there was more to it than just fashion. But what kind of power could a bracelet have? I've made a decision. I will tell you all I know. Consider it a gift. Yay, Trucy and Apollo! Well, I hardly need you to tell me at this point, but those two are brother and sister, yes. And the brother too has this power of theirs. So Trucy has an older brother. I wonder what will come of that. Mr. Wright, tonight after our game is done, I will return to a life of hiding. Actually, no you won't, because you die. Unfortunately. I would not see her live her life without knowing. I understand. I'll tell the two of them when the time is right. I am in your debt. Once again. No kidding. What I want to know is how all this got to be so messed up. The bracelets. Those bracelets are made of a special alloy. It is said to expand and shrink very slightly in response to body warmth. So they're temperature sensitive or something? Yes. This is how they shrink to the exact size of their wearer's wrist. And this has something to do with the power? What have I told you? The Grammari power reacts to tension in others. When a Grammari senses tension, they too become tense. And this tension translates into minute contractions of the muscles. So minute, they cannot sense it on their own. Their muscles? Oh, so that's what the bracelets are for. With a bracelet on, one can sense these contractions, because the bracelet is always a perfect fit. So when the person they're watching gets tense, the bracelet feels tighter on their wrists. Yeah, precisely. But that alone doesn't really count as mind reading. I believe I understand how the process works from there. It's a simple question of eyesight. Eyesight? I guess that sounds simple enough. Have you ever heard of kinetic vision? Something about the ability to see moving objects with full clarity, right? I've heard of it before. They say athletes can see a moving ball like it was stopped if they focus. No, but it's not confined to sports alone. It all relies on the ability to focus. When we focus, we can see many things. The faintest twitch of the face, and the meaning that lies beneath it, not behind it. Therein lies one of the secrets of magic. One must know the mind of a crowd before one may distract it. So basically, what you're saying is, the Grammaries can see really well. For them, seeing is more than believing. It is knowing. Their power relies on eyesight combined with exceptional focus. Things are starting to come into focus for me too. Of course, it is difficult to maintain such levels of focus for any length of time. But what if someone could tell you when to focus? Or something. Precisely. But wait, Trucy doesn't have any bracelets. You're talking about poker, yes? The timing of when to focus is so elementary, she probably does it without thinking. I doubt Trucy herself has realised this. That is all I know that is all I know of things Grammari. Thank you, Mr. Zack. If this boy's bracelet is the real thing, then he will use it before long, thereby awakening his power. I'll keep that in mind. Well, shall we play a game? Ah, I've said so much. Let me say one more thing. I will tell you of that night. That night? The night my mentor Magnify Grammari passed from this world to the next. There were 2 pistols, and 2 letters sent. This was Magnify's test. A test? In his last years, Magnify Grammari worked us to the bone, no, to the pain. But that night, I could not shoot him, so I shot the clown's forehead instead. This, it seems, was the correct answer. Take this. I give my art to you, Zack. What? It's thanks for playing along with my show. You shot well tonight, Zack. Although I would not have minded dying by your hand. How could I shoot you? You're my mentor. Bah! I thought you might say that. If I went home without shooting anything, what would you have done then? Then, of course, I would have given Valant his chance. And if I had shot you in the forehead instead, then it would be over.